21 years old, and I want to die. I'm an English major in my 4th year at the University of Houston Honors College, and I don't want to be a writer or a professor anymore, like I assumed I would when I chose my major as a freshman. We're reading 6 insanely long novels in my advanced literature class, and while I'm enjoying the elaborate, gorgeous prose and well-executed character development of Victor Hugo's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 544 pages unabridged, reading and analyzing the classics is losing its luster for me. So is writing. I have no interest in creating my own short stories, poetry, nonfiction, or even journaling anymore. In fact, pretty much everything about college is currently annoying me, except my newfound love of dance. Primarily modern, but I'm also digging jazz and ballroom and hip hop, and my girlfriend Adair, a ballerina I met in my first dance class the year before. Adair has a boyfriend. I've met him. He's an entitled prick, in my opinion. And she's made it clear that we can't get too serious because her family fully expects her to marry him. Those Southern Baptist parents of hers would never understand or approve of her bisexuality, much less condone her polyamorous lifestyle. It is 1997, after all. So Adair and I are living it up while we can as the stuffy walls of the academia close in around me. And I'm wondering whether I should stay in school and finish my degree. Those timeless words that elders love to say are playing on loop in my head. Sure, you can chase your dreams, but you damn well better have a degree to fall back on. I'm a senior, for God's sake. Why not just suck it up for 9 more months and do what it takes to get that dumb piece of paper that everybody cares so much about? What I really want to do is drop out and join a modern dance company and start living my life. I'm already making good money as a part-time stripper and a dominatrix, so income isn't a problem. All I want to do is train and become a good modern dancer. Then become a great choreographer and be with Adair as much as possible and also travel the world and fight racism and sexism and homophobia and maybe become a parent, help save the environment and a million other things. But for now, can I please just get the fuck out of college and become the artist that I want to be? Before I can make a fully thought out decision, Adair breaks up with me while we were on LSD, no less. It's one of the worst nights and acid trips of my young life. She tells me through tears, I can't let my family down. I'm marrying insert entitled asshat's name that I forgot here. And we're moving to New York so he can become a doctor there. What the fuck, Adair? What am I supposed to do now? A lot of drugs, it turns out. I do all the drugs over the next several months, which are ridiculously easy to find at the various clubs I'm working at. My preferred intoxicants are speed and cocaine, first snorting, then smoking. Then I finally resort to needles because drugs hit so much harder when you shoot them up. Followed by sleeping pills to come down. Retch, rinse, repeat until I don't remember her name or even my own anymore. It's not until I wake up from a cocaine overdose with the needle still in my arm, alone in my apartment, but with the evidence that my roommate had been there and left without even bothering to call 911, that I know I've hit rock bottom, that it's time to make a real decision about whether I want to live or die. In a moment of self-preservation and desperation, I call my mom and I tell her everything. She rushes over to my Montrose apartment and scoops me up. I stay with her for a few weeks, mostly sleeping, eating, and trying to figure out what the fuck happened to me. How I had gone from being a U of H honors college senior with a scholarship to being a college dropout and an IV drug user in a span of 6 months. My heartbreak had led to depression, leading to drug use, which led to a more serious depression and then increased to more dangerous drug use. You get it. One day you're going to dance class, acing a test on Dostoevsky's allergies and crime and punishment and writing a haiku for your girlfriend. And the next you're begging your coke dealer to front you an 8-ball because you haven't been willing to cover the track marks on your arm well enough to go work at the strip club. Yikes. The first few years of getting sober are a hazy slog. All the drugs have seriously depleted the feel-good chemicals in my brain, and I'm just existing, walking through life like a zombie that used to know what love, passion, and inspiration were, but lost their humanity and can't feel anything anymore. I'm just numb all the time. I really want to die, and I start thinking about how and when I'll do it. Obviously, passively overdosing on drugs wasn't successful, so I'd have to be a little bit more intentional. But before the plan was fully fleshed out, one night I take myself out to a dance performance at the Wortham Theater. I sit there alone, watching a talented European company of 15 modern dancers express, contort, and bleed life for me. Well, for me and about 1,000 other people in the audience. Taking in the loud music, wild costumes, and athletic bodies starts to wake something up in me. After a dramatic group number, the stage vibrates in the afterglow of energy and sweat flying and dynamic jumps and lifts until it hums calmly and sitting empty. Just then, a streak of red from upstage left comes thundering us. It's a solo dancer in a bold red costume. Shanae turning through those turns that look like a playing card, rapidly flipping over and over, and fluidly moving her arms through 20 different positions. Arms floating like sentient seaweed on the ocean floor, muscular legs spinning with perfect precision, her head snapping back into place on every turn. All the way across the vast stage with an unwavering joy and commitment. My eyes fill with stunned tears. The embodied combination of power and grace floods an expansive wave deep into my soul. With this simple, profound exhaustion, her arms somehow reach all the way across the theater and shake me alive in my seat. I'm helplessly weeping and rocking and humbled, all in a voice in my head says, how can I leave this? As long as this kind of beauty exists in the world, I want to be here. There it was, my reason to live. And in that moment, I make a deal with myself that I will worship at the altar of dance, whether it is as a performer, a choreographer, producer, teacher, hell, backstage assistant, it doesn't matter as long as it serves dance. I don't have to be a star, a boss, or a leader of any kind. I just want to take directions from this brilliant, gorgeous thing that made me want to live again. I stay sober, and within a few months, I join Richie Hubscher's Easy Credit Dance Theater, and I start performing. I leave after a few years, and I create my own company, Freneticor Dance, with musician and filmmaker Robert Thoth. We produce and perform a dozen multimedia original dance theater shows together. I teach weekly modern ballet, jazz, improv, and yoga classes. We will have a black box theater and share it with the other performing groups who want to perform, a space to perform. We host visual art exhibits, produce festivals, and run a kids program. After 13 years of collaborating, Robert and I part ways artistically, and I explore my queer identity through dance and as a solo choreographer and filmmaker. Through all of it, dance serves me well, and I never stop serving dance. I often tell people that if I hadn't found dance, I would be dead or in jail, because it's absolutely fucking true. I find Adair years later online, and she happens to be planning a visit to Houston from New York. We meet in Montrose at Avant Garden for a cocktail, and when I see her in person after all these years, I can feel the weight and sadness of her life. She's still in the closet, professionally unfulfilled, and stuck in a loveless marriage with good old what's-his-name. I resist the urge to gloat. And when she invites me to her hotel for some wouldn't it be hot to fuck like we used to, and then I'll go home to my husband and you'll feel used sex, I decline. And I go home to my dance studio and plan tomorrow's rehearsal. For now, the turbulent and chaotic drama in my life exists exactly where it belongs, on the stage. Thank you guys so much. My name's Honey Rainer.
The obligatory what the fuck is up, nerds. Here we go. Okay. All right, hey, what can't be solved through the power of dance, huh? Yeah, right. What a joke that was. So my other one, not necessarily a joke, but just perhaps a comment on the state of the world, was I actually know, the main character of the story was talking about being able to make money as like a professional dom, and I know a professional dom, and she recently had to move back in with her parents, so like, inflation is real. That's all I'm saying. Especially when you don't ask for it. So the next story, fuck it, I don't care. I don't care about this stand. The next story is about me, apparently. It is called The Worst Person You Know, written by Anonymous and read by Fred Linder.